Hello and welcome back to another Chateau de Bruges video. We're back in France. Myself and Danielle have managed to sort our visas. We are here safely. We've been back for just over 48 hours now, I reckon. So we're settling back into life in France. As I promised last week, the things that we're going to show you in today's video are renovations that we've done so far in the gardens and renovations that we've done so far in the outbuildings, as well as you might see a few clips of stuff that we've gone about in local towns and local villages, and sort of stuff that we do in our own social time.
So you may have noticed a small bandage, or not so small bandage, on my foot. Unfortunately, we had a bit of an accident in the UK. Jake decided to throw 200 degrees lasagna at me, so I've got a bit of a burn on my ankle, so just trying to keep it clean and moist to heal well. Obviously renovating the chateau, it can get pretty dirty here sometimes, so I just want to keep it as clean as possible, but I have sought medical advice, so please don't worry about me.
So it's lovely to have the guys back. They're full of vigour and they're ready to go. I've kept myself busy this week whilst they've been away, doing some bits and pieces which you'll see in the video, and we've even started renovation of a brand new room, which is bedroom 1 on your floor plan. So you'll see more of that next week.
Okay, so that concludes our introduction. Now we're going to roll the teasers. We're going to start with showing you the swimming pools. Now that's plural for a reason that you'll see very soon. This is the pool that we were greeted with when we moved into the chateau. We uncovered it with Orlando, the cameraman, to find a very murky pool that was still holding water, which was a good sign. But it meant that we had to drain it with the pump. And as you can see, it's looking really murky and horrible at the bottom now. The pump would only get so far, so we were left with a few inches worth of water that had to evaporate in the sun, and that then left a dry, muddy bottom. As you can see, we now have Josh, the cameraman, for the TV show later in the year, having a good old look. We then had to scrape the pool and get all of the mud out.
I think we could have a bucket in this corner. Would you not want to get it dirty?
So once the worst of the mess was gone, we jet washed the pool, making sure that that was really clean. That left a puddle at the bottom of the pool, which we used a wet hoover to hoover out, so that we could start filling it up. Merlin really enjoyed this part, as he could get in and stay cool without actually having to swim. Once the pool was full, we could kick back and enjoy all of our hard work. Thanks so much to Ian, Elaine and Jen for everything that you did in the weekend that you were there. We honestly couldn't have done all of this without you. Some people were incredibly tired at the end of all this hard work, but falling asleep with a view, there's nothing better. And Dad's been busy today, cleaning the pool, ready for all the hot weather that we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks. We won't, however, be using that one. So basically, the pool was leaking from the hoover attachment. That left the water level below the height of the filter, and everyone knows an unfiltered pool can be a very dirty pool. So we drained all the water and filled up the above ground pool. It's safe to say that this has had some use in the last few weeks, as the weather's been absolutely glorious here. Moving on to some troubles that we had with the lawnmower. Mum and Dad purchased this second-hand mower within the first couple of days at the chateau, as it was evident that we needed to get the garden under control. The previous owners had not taken care of the grass for some time, and that meant it was really long and very uneven. The mower didn't mulch the grass, so we had to pick up the dead grass to allow the newly cut grass to breathe. Danielle thoroughly enjoyed riding in the back of the truck, collecting all of the dead grass. Some people were left more tired than others. Unfortunately, we had some issues with the tractor after this. The blade adjustment bracket snapped and we had to resort to strapping the blades up to cut the grass. It was safe to say we needed a replacement. So it's 8:30 on a Saturday morning and we've just had the new mower delivered. As you can see, I'm super excited. What I'm not so excited about is that the guys that's dropped it off has given me 7 instruction manuals to read, so I'll have to work my way through them before Dad lets me drive the tractor anywhere. Yeah, just gonna get going now. Give it a go, turn it on.
Has it got petrol in it?
It's got a little bit of fuel in it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So the guy said foot on the brake and then that releases the parking brake. He said foot on the brake in order to start it.
Yeah, it is quite quiet.
So it's very low choke at the moment.
Oh,
That's the reverse.
yeah, that's good.
So for some of you, I may seem a little overexcited to have taken delivery of a lawnmower, but this is a huge moment for me and my lawn mowing woes. It was taking me well over 6 hours to mow the entire chateau grounds, what with having to stop every 20 minutes to fix the old tractor. During my little joyride, it was sinking in that I'll finally be able to enjoy my lawn mowing at the chateau and begin to create the grounds we had all been dreaming about. It wasn't just me who was excited to try out the new mower. Although she may not look like it, Mum really enjoyed whizzing the mower around the garden for a few hours.
So one of the things we inherited with the chateau was lots and lots of trees. Now, I'm not against trees, but the downside to them were that they were completely hiding the chateau. We wanted the chateau to be not only seen from the lake and from the road, but also we wanted a view out of the chateau into this lovely countryside. So we've already started taking down some of the trees. Now you can see here a conifer or fir tree. There's one just on this side as well, and they were designed to grow up into an arch, which in theory would have looked nice, but it completely blocked the view out from the chateau and the view in from people seeing the chateau. So we've started to take this tree down. We've got a little bit more work to do on that one, and you'll see also that we've taken down the tree on the opposite side with a little bit more work to do on there. So that's the first of the trees that we've started to fell.
We managed to shift all of the tree cuttings down to the bottom of the garden for storage.
So this is the biggest tree that I've felled in the garden so far. Not only was it completely in the wrong place, because again it blocked the view and did nothing for the surroundings of the garden, but it was also, as you can see from the cuttings and things that we've taken off, completely dead. So it had to come down before it fell down. So this was a job this week. We took this down. You can see the stump there. It came down exactly where I wanted it to, and it's now been chopped up. We're waiting for the professional tree loggers to come along, and maybe, hopefully, if they say it's okay, we'd like to reuse this and make a dining room table.
So while we're watching Dad try and tow the tree with his truck, we're all going to pretend that we don't see what's about to happen. I think I'm legally required to say, don't try this at home. At this point, I thought it was a good time to mention that we do make mistakes, whether it be during the renovation or producing videos for social media. The important thing is that we're all willing to learn and we're always improving. Here is Graham chopping down another unsightly conifer tree. We've earmarked this space as an outdoor eating area as it's located just outside the dining room. That meant clearing the space of trees and debris. We're certainly going to be okay for firewood for a couple of winters.
Melon here.
This may look like a small job, but these conifers take a good few hours to cut down safely. Dad had done very little tree felling before coming to the chateau. In such a short amount of time, he has got very good at it. And of course, that as well as being time consuming, it's an exhausting job in the summer sun. Next up, the now beautiful row of hedges. And we're walking down the far end of the garden to come and check on Charles, see how Charles is doing. Charles has been busy hedge trimming. As you can see, this one looking very good. And this one yet to be done. So what's the skill here?
Well, don't drive your blade too far in. It will then create a brown strip that you can't recover for probably a couple of cuts, maybe a season or two. So just a nice gentle stroke across the top. And then just gently brush it all off and just keep going gently through the process, and it's quite methodical, relaxing, a little bit exhausting, but otherwise it's okay.
Superb. Well, it's looking really good, Charles, so keep up the good work.
Yep, see you in an hour.
While this may look a little unconventional, this was the only way that I could get to the very tops of the hedges. They had been left uncared for quite some time, and that meant that quite a lot of growth had to be cut back. Reckon this is how they did it in the 1600s? On top of their truck?
Maybe.
Yeah, battery powered.
Maybe on top of a horse. And oil powered.
This ended up taking a couple of days to do all 18 hedge eggs. This meant that Charles and I had very sore shoulders and arms, but a great deal of satisfaction and accomplishment. How you doing, Grandad? All right?
Yeah, good. Alright, get up a bit higher.
Well, come back to me in a couple of hours then. Taking good care of the row of hedges will be a challenge, but it's essential we do, as it will be such a centrepiece of the chateau. Moving on to something that Grandad and Grandma have taken a lead on creating and maintaining during their stay, the veg patch and greenhouse. After digging for what must have felt like forever, Graham, Grandad and Charles created the perfect starter vegetable patch. While Grandad and Grandma were certain it would be too late for most crops this year, they were determined to get some vegetables into the ground, and how they have blossomed. It quickly became evident that we needed to fence off the vegetable patch from an unwanted vegetable predator called Merlin.
Right, and we come to Friday night, a very sad moment for me, as it's my last evening or night time here. My last watering of the plants that we put in 5 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here to see them come to fruition, but it's nice to see that they made a good start and they've got a good chance of turning into something. So we'll give them a last water and hope for the best. Bye for now.
It's safe to say that the vegetable patch looks brilliant, and we couldn't have done it without the expertise of Grandad and Grandma. us and the vegetables are really going to miss you. We hope that we can continue to look after the vegetables as well as you did, and one day serve them to family and friends and guests who grace us with their presence at the chateau.
What are you planting in there, Mum?
More strawberry plants.
Strawberries and more strawberries.
Feed the hungry thousands that are coming to visit.
What fruits and vegetables can guests look forward to from the garden?
Well, next week we probably have lettuce, tomatoes, onions, courgettes, cabbage,
Leeks.
yeah, sweet, not sweet. Oh, I think what they're called. Radishes and broccoli, that's it. And probably leeks. Leeks are a bit slow this year, but they're coming on. Should be alright.
Before Grandad and Grandma left the chateau, we wanted them to plant something at the chateau to symbolise their forever presence. So while Grandad comes tearing down the hill on his souped up tractor, we wanted to again say thank you to Grandad and Grandma for spending 5 weeks at the chateau, working incredibly hard to assist with the castle's restoration.
What are you up to, Dad?
Hello, we've got this apple tree today and we're going to try and plant it. It's going to be a bit tough because the ground is bloody solid at the moment after all the fine weather. But I've had the hose pipe running on it for about a quarter of an hour, so hopefully it's softened it up a bit, but only time will tell. The pickaxe just in case. Where do you want him? On that, what's it go here somewhere? That's a maybe one. That's soft enough by the looks of it. For that it is anyway. Got to be quite a big hole. Twice as big as the
What, deep or round?
no round. Head deep actually. That's quite good stuff. Look at that. It's all the stuff.
Wider than that.
Yeah, I want it the same again.
So that's the hole dug. Dad's just gone off to get some fertiliser to put in the hole.
Right.
We've watered him in, so we're just going to get some fertiliser, shove the tree in the hole. All good.
How's that look? Still a bit deep, is it? Just a little bit more. How's that look? Too deep or just right, would you say?
Looks alright to me, then I don't know anything about planting trees.
I think that's good. me. It's growing quick, it's got apples on it already.
For those renovation junkies out there, next up, Graham and Charles knocked down a wall that was very much not original to the outbuilding. It took a fair amount of whacking to get this down, but the plan was to further open up the outbuilding by knocking through to the forge, which we can only imagine is how it would have been back in the 1600s. This will, in turn, benefit our longer term goals of reworking this outbuilding space into an events activity retreat space. Lastly, we wanted to show you a few things that we had been doing with our weekends and spare time. We're incredibly lucky to have so many beautiful features within Ep.3. We have also travelled slightly further afar to places like Vichy. The lake at the end of the garden can often see large crowds of people flocking to use the man-made beach, campsite and various events. Most weekends there are local brocants where locals sell their antique goods for normally very low prices. The best brocant so far being just the other side of the chateau walls in Ep.3. Grandad and I just had to have a game of golf while he was here.
Perfect.
Of course I let him win. Expertly done. And lastly, the 14th of July celebrations in Ep.3 are well renowned, and people travel from miles to celebrate just a few hundred yards from the chateau.
Ah, the Mary 1-0.
But that's all for this week though, folks. We really hope that you are continuing to enjoy our videos. We plan to have lots of new renovation work videos this week in preparation for next weekend's video. So stay posted, don't forget to like, subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified of our future videos. Until next week, bye!